Yo, what's good? We back with another episode of the Elevated Podcast, man. We're working our mind, working our conscience, and staying elevated way above the nonsense, man. Y'all know how we do. Harold, what's good, bro?
Yo, what it do, man? What it do, man? Back with another one. Really think I'm gonna enjoy this one too. There's certain ones I kind of and this one wasn't super planned, man. Yeah. We just saw opportunity and we all agreed and took it. We got my guy Myles, the Millennial, on here, man. Best-selling author, motivational speaker, co-host of the Let's Talk Like Men podcast, man. We got he a talker. If y'all ain't caught on, y'all. All right, so man, I think today's gonna be a very good one, man. Really looking forward to today's conversation, bro. How you doing, man?
I'm doing wonderful, man. I'm just blessed to be here today. Glad I got to come back in the city at the right time that we can make this work. So I think God's about to bless us really well for this episode.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I'm going to try to be brief.
You from Houston, right?
Absolutely, man. Born and raised Southeast, man.
What brought you to the city?
Fisk, man. So I got a full ride to Fisk University back in 2016. Majored in business with a concentration in finance and economics. So they gave me that money. Nobody else was trying to give a full ride, and I had made a guarantee to myself when I was a sophomore in high school that, like, I'm going to work my ass off because I don't want my parents to spend a dime. Mm-hmm. And we can dive into that if we want to, but that was a time period where I had to really find my identity and what I wanted, because I thought I was going to go to, like, the big state PWI school. I had never even heard of Fisk, let alone HBCUs. And then just by happenstance, it ends up all lining up, and I fell in love the second I took a tour here and changed my life.
How would you say going to a HBCU helped shape you differently as a man opposed to? Well, I guess you don't have the experience to contrast it with, but I guess you kind of allude to where
I can kind of speak to what I think would have been different, only because I know the person I was before I went to college. Mm-hmm. And I know the person I became once I got here. And on top of the fact, I can also compare it to even my boys and, like, the different aspects of what other, black boys like me went through, the ones that went to PWIs and the ones that went to HBCUs. So first thing is, I didn't really have a true black identity. Like, I didn't have self-confidence in myself as a black man, because I went through identity crisis a couple times, very young and then in high school, because of the way I always talked, right? Super proper, articulate with the way I say things. So people always would call me an Oreo. People always call me a white boy, all these things, right? And so I spent my whole life trying to do different things to become the stereotypical black boy.
Yeah.
And trying to dumb myself down with the way I would talk, trying to maneuver different ways. That's why I love sports so much, was because I got to be around all the black guys like me. And so it made me feel included, made me feel valued. And when I came to Fisk, I remember we had an etiquette class during our orientation week. They made us do an etiquette class. Now, I had taken etiquette courses multiple times because of different organizations I was in high school. So I knew what to do. And so they were asking people for volunteers. And I, raised my hand, and I came up, and I was the only volunteer. And I knew how to do everything. They did, like, an on-site interview thing too. And I killed it all. And I remember the way all the girls looked at me after that. And I was like, wait, it's cool here to be smart. like it's cool here to be a nerd. It's cool here to know how to wear a suit and tie and do all these different things that we used to get talked about back at home. Mm-hmm. You corny.
It's crazy how low the standard is, right? Or I'm gonna say not even the standard, but the stereotype is, to where you feel like you have to dumb down your personality to any extent.
Yeah.
To fit a stereotype as a black boy or a black man. It's crazy. And I don't even, it's not a mirror that we're holding up to ourselves, because I know we don't view ourselves that way.
Yeah.
Feel me? And I don't even think that the perception on the internet is the reality of black men either.
Yeah.
Be it in our community locally or I'm gonna just say, to celebrity and stardom, it just ain't what is pushed to be on the internet. Feel me?
Bro, I went through that exact same thing, bro. Like, just growing up, being in school, you saying white boy, like they used to call me white boy Jeff, bro.
Yeah.
Like, because I was out there, I was skateboarding, and you know what I'm saying, and then all of a sudden Lil Wayne hopping on a skateboard, and I'm like, y'all was just
cool
making fun
now.
of me. Like,
It's
you know
cool
what I'm
now.
saying? It's like, bro. And then especially like moving to Nashville from Virginia.
Yeah.
Like we don't have a strong accent or nothing like that. Like we talk proper.
Yeah.
I guess it's proper. But yeah, when I got down here, like, yeah, I definitely got a lot of that, bro. So I feel like it's a point that you gotta get to where you just like, man, this is who I am.
Yeah.
Like, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like you can't like try to be accepted by people. It's just like either you're gonna accept me or not. Like this is who I am.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah.
And there's a lesson, and I talk about this in one of my speeches that I give to specifically when I'm doing like 8th graders to high schoolers, because I know they're going through peer pressure more than anything right now, trying to find themselves. And I say in one of my speeches, the things people laugh at you for now will be the things they love you for later. Because a lot of times people laughing at you because they're insecure about that aspect of you. Because you're comfortable being, right, the skater boy, right? The things that you enjoy, being yourself. Because I'm able to speak a certain way that maybe they aren't comfortable with speaking. They make fun of you. People try to laugh or rag on the things that they are uncomfortable with as a way to shield themselves from their insecurities. And if you choose to succumb to them, you're going to regret it. And you're going to be at a space where I know we've all probably have experienced this, where as you get older, you start finding your way back to a lot of things that you had given up at a certain point in your life. You're like, man, I really did love this, and I only let it go because such and such said this, or because mom or dad or somebody in my life said it wasn't going to work out. And as you get older, you're like, man, I want the things that really make me happy. And so you come back to a lot of aspects of your life that you have forgotten about. So, you know, there's a lesson as a man just to hold on to the things that you love and that you do well, because it makes you who you are.
Most definitely.
I can honestly say, man, I'm on the other side of that. I don't think I've ever went through an identity.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say crisis. I think I was always cool with shedding layers as they came. And I talked about this on the Black Man event too.
Yeah.
Right, episode we was talking about. My mom made me real comfortable with being who I was. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, fuck what them people think. You feel me? At the end of the day, because like I grew up where in our community, like people talked about my mom all the time. Talk bad about my mom. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, they leaned on her for damn near everything. You feel me? So I'm like, and me being able to be objective to it and view it from the outside, it was just like, you might as well just be yourself. Like, my mom, like running herself crazy still, I mean, trying to get some shape of approval from these people, but they leaning and depending on you and loving you when you're doing it. So you might as well just be yourself.
Absolutely.
Feel me?
Right.
So, like, that's one thing I don't think I ever really, like, struggled with, for real. If I was on rollerblades when I was younger, bro. You know what I mean? Like, you feel me? I was on rollerblades, and I ain't give a damn. I was out there. We go to the skate rink, everybody out there. Well, I'm on side to side, I'm sliding. Rollerblades. I didn't care, bro.
For sure.
I think that's one of the things that allowed me to just kind of be free, and it kept me out of a lot of bullshit when I got to college, too. I didn't try to fit into nothing. I just wanted people around me who I felt like thought like me.
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, man, it's always interesting to me to hear when people in general, but especially like black men, speak on the pressures of being a certain way.
Yeah.
For real. Like, and let me ask y'all this. What type of environment do you expect to create for your kids to where they don't experience those pressures? I feel like, I mean, Jeff, neither one of y'all got kids yet,
Not
right?
yet.
Okay, but y'all planning to have it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, shit, what type of environment do you think would be more suitable for a black kid in general to not feel the pressures, or really all kids, because all of them deal with pressure for social media and shit like that now.
Yeah.
I mean, but, yeah. Either one of y'all
go
can
first?
Go ahead, bro.
All right. So this is something I've talked about a lot recently with my family and with my girlfriend. There's a few things that I'm really big on. When I was a kid and I was growing up, I was maybe 3-4 years old. There was a program at a black church called the Harambe School. And it was African-based, right? The teachings, they taught you how to read, write, all these different things. but they always did it from a black lens. And I remember that being my first experience with other kids. They all looked like me. But then when I went to public school, none of them looked like me. And that was a shock. I didn't really know how to navigate that because when you're that young, yeah, those things help, but you really haven't comprehended your sense of self yet. You just know what you've been taught. So one of the things that I would do is, one, from an early age, put my kids around that environment of kids that look like them. But I want my kids to be in public school. I don't want to do like private school or anything like that because I done heard too much crazy stuff they be having at the private schools. But I want my kids to be in public schools in a predominantly black district. I want them to grow up with a lot of kids that look like them because they got the whole rest of their lives to experience being the minority. They got the whole rest of their lives. Everywhere they go, their internships they're going to do, the jobs, the sports teams, everywhere they're going to go, they're going to be surrounded with people that don't look like them and they're going to face the world. But I really would appreciate my children having the opportunity to be in an atmosphere where they get to see themselves every single day and be comfortable in that because I know what it did for me when I got to college. Yeah. That changed my life forever, being around an environment of black people my age that are all on the same trajectory of trying to, better themselves. Second thing I do is, and a lot of people are going to disagree with this, but I don't believe in giving kids access to technology super early. I really don't. I know a lot of people will say like, well, you give them this tablet and they calm down and they'll be quiet. But it's like these kids are getting way too attached to certain tendencies, principles, and let alone if they get a hold of something on there that they're not supposed to see.
Right.
And we're creating habits in these young kids so early.
Yep.
We don't understand why their attention spans are, less than 30 seconds. And it's like, well, look at our attention spans. We always on this.
Yeah.
So I would really limit that. I didn't get a phone till I was 13, right? All my friends had phones way before I did. And I was so mad about that. And I feel like I was way behind. Like, man, why y'all ain't give me no phone? My dad would be like, bro, you where you supposed to be, we ain't got no issues. And that was just the expectation that he had when you say you're going to be done at this time, I'll pick you up, you're going to be there. So what do you need a phone for? And I look back on that. And all my friends, there's so many things. My parents didn't let me go to sleepovers. All my friends got introduced to drugs at their first sleepovers. A lot of parties that they weren't supposed to go to. A lot of sexual experiences that they weren't supposed to have happened at them parties and functions that my parents said, you're not putting you out there.
Yeah.
At the time, I didn't understand it. But I had all my life to have fun. Once I got to 18 and I went off, I made up for lost time.
Yeah.
But I had way more discipline than a lot of my friends.
Yeah, man.
It was different.
I had a conversation about that the other day, and just speaking about how the kids nowadays just have access to technology so early. And I feel like you said, I didn't get a phone until I was like 14.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it definitely does make a difference in the kids' lives. Just it's not just the attention span, it's also having that much access to information that young.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? As you're still growing, you really don't. You really haven't had the experiences and, you know what I'm saying, just went through life to where you can decide who you are and what you want to be and things like that. You're really getting influenced by what you see on a daily.
Yeah.
So I feel you on that. Like I said, I don't have kids, and that's something that, you know what I'm saying, me and the mother will have to agree on, of course. But I feel like technology needs to come at a later time, bro. I think that definitely helped us growing up.
Yeah.
The sleepovers, man.
Bro.
I was the guy where everybody came to the house, for sleepovers, bro. And it was like, my mom wasn't having that.
She wasn't playing no games.
No. My mom wasn't having that. And that's another thing as well, bro. Like, we was talking about like landlines and stuff, man. Like, kids would be on the phone on the landline. Your mama pick up, hey, Jeffrey, I need the phone. I'd be like, come on, man. Like, you're ruining the vibe. But parents don't talk to each other like they used to. I don't feel like. Yeah. But, my mama, she calling other parents, hey, is it cool? You know what I'm saying? If they come over here, sleep over here, make sure you send them with this, whatever they need. We going to church in the morning. Like, so we be down there in the basement freestyling, playing video games. She gonna get pizza for everybody. And she had a way of dealing with kids that like made a lot of trouble in school and stuff like that. Yeah. When they came around my mom, all that calmed down. Yeah. But I felt like she gave them a space and gave us a space to where we could just come and just be ourselves. And it wasn't too much supervision to where she's just like right there beside us the whole time. And she gave us that freedom to be ourselves. But at the same time, it's still checking, making sure everything's good. But I feel like I definitely want my kids to be able to develop themselves and be who they want to be, and I want to be supportive of that, but I don't want them to be influenced so early by everything that's going on out here and everything that the media is pushing to, you know what I'm saying, they might grow up later on and be like, man, I don't know if I made the right decision. Yeah. You know, so.
Yeah, man. Just to kind of hit off some of the stuff both of y'all said, technology is a push and pull.
I believe it.
For real, because on one hand, I'm not gonna lie, Miss Rachel is a part of the reason why my daughter is smart as hell now. I'm being so serious. Like the repetition of it sometimes. Like I took it as literal programming for my daughter. Feel me? And now, like Jeff would tell you, like my daughter is smart as shit. And then she also like now though that we know she's got it, it's less TV and she has books. My daughter literally like she has a library in the living room, so she'll go pick one up and bring it to me and be like book. Yeah, and then just sit down. We'll go through it. Whether she listens through the whole thing, it's about creating that pattern and again literal programming of her. So. I kind of rock with it, but I don't. Also, my daughter ain't one of them kids that you have to give her a tablet to calm down. Like she grows up in the gym. Yeah. Right. So she runs in there and plays all day. She won't look for a tablet. Tablet. You feel me? At the house, it's the same thing. It's just sometimes when you, as a parent, you get caught up trying to do stuff by yourself, and you're like, okay, I need you to sit here. Yeah. Like, take this. Yeah. Right? But again, programming her away from that, now I can sit her down with a book, and I need you to relax. So I can sit her down with some type of physical development toy or something like that. So it's a push and pull with the technology, man. And I love to hear both of y'all basically saying that y'all want to create a space for y'all kids to develop an identity, right, and being black, because it's so important, man. And one of the things I really want to do for my daughter is I want to make her a historian. You know what I mean? I really want to make her, because they're trying so hard to just rip general black history from American history. And you can't have American history without black history.
Not at all.
But having that foundation in who you are, rather is what your ancestors did here, you know what I mean, slavery, post-slavery, or going back to, you know what I mean, Africa and where we were kings and queens, you feel me? So like I feel like that just creates a sense of pride. Yeah. It helps with that sense of identity, and somebody speaking ill or some shit like that about you being black or your culture, it really just creates an ego for you with it. And I'd rather my kid have an ego with their skin tone than a complex.
Inferiority complex.
Some type of insecurity about it. So we're going to make them that ego. Like they got a chip on their shoulder with it. And I'd rather have them that way than to walk out in their corporate space and then worry about, like, you got to understand the game is rigged. Fuck it. You know what I mean? But know how to win in your space. Exactly. You know what I mean? Know how to manipulate the game in your favor. Yeah. Don't be Steve Harvey, but you know what I mean? You know, I ain't even mean for that.
You definitely went there.
I just feel, my bad. But man, I just feel like so many people in our space respect him way more when he plays the money game, as he said. And he's quiet on a lot of issues where I feel like he should use his platform most. Yeah. That's why I say that about the brother. I mean, I love him, but...
That's real. That's real. But, you know, going back to what you said about the technology, the reason why I come from where I come from on my stance on technology is because a lot of parents are lazy. And the technology is a cop-out for them to not have to parent.
I was going to say
I can give this kid this. He go search whatever he want. preoccupy his mind, and I ain't got to hear him. He ain't finna come to me for the next few hours. I can relax.
It's a
And it's
tablet
like,
and
you got that
melatonin
balance.
generation out there right now.
Definitely.
They getting tablets and melatonin.
Exactly.
I swear, it's a generation out there right
Just
now.
cutting the corners. And we're not gonna. My dad said this. He said when I was talking about this probably a few years ago, just y'all were so tough on us growing up, but I appreciate it now. Like now, me and my dad are friends. He said that was the whole entire point. He said my mom, my Willa used to tell him, because he would be like, why are you so nice to them? You was not this easy on me. When I was coming up, you wouldn't give me everything I wanted to say, and now you spoiled them with things just because. She said, my job was to be your parent. Now me and you can be friends. She says, your job is to now be the parent to them. You're supposed to be the one that teaches them how to say no. You're supposed to be the one that shows them how to have delayed gratification. I get to play the fun role now. Your job as a parent, your kids might not like you. And that's okay. And you got to have at least one person in that relationship that is okay with their child not liking them.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be moments where what they want and what they believe is right for them, and you're going to know from experience, you're going to know from maturity, this is not going to lead you down the right path. And every last one of my friends whose parents gave into that and let my friends do what they wanted to do, now my friends hold resentment towards their parents because of that. And they have times where they're like, damn, I just wish you would have told me no when I was trying to convince you of yes. I wish you would have said, no, you're not getting your way.
Yeah.
And so you doing the hard work now. And that's why you're already seeing the benefits of it. It's showing off in her intelligence. She has her creativity, the part of her mind that allows her to see things play out is activated by books. She doesn't need a literal picture in front of her on a television screen for her to be able to do that. She can listen to you read and get excited. That's what creates great memory. That's what creates great comprehension and conversation. Like these are the things that we should be doing. But a lot of parents are not going to take that route. And so that's why I'm so big on like, man, we need to pause on this. If a lot of people took the iPad out of the picture and picked up the book, like you said, we'd see a big change in children.
Do you feel like because our parents were so hard on us growing up that now it's like because we experienced that these kids that have come up after us, we've let it be so easy for them and just y'all just be yourself, kind of like do what you want to do type thing to where I don't know, man. I feel like these teenagers and like it's different now, man.
Absolutely.
Like they wildin'. They wildin'. I know we were when we were younger too, but I just feel like it's getting worse. And I'm looking like every time because, my car got broken into the other day when we were shooting. And, it was some guys around me and they was just like, hey, bro, like, if we need to bust a block, go find them. I was like, nah, bro. I'm like, that don't make sense. Yeah. But I was sitting there reflecting like, okay, we the aunts and the uncles now. We're the parents now, you know what I'm saying? And we're the tribe. And it's like, okay, where can we step in to start? Where are we missing the point to where we're not leading them to where they can do better? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I don't know what we can do, but I feel like we need to be more involved in the teens' lives and things like that, just with the community and stuff like that. And, I can't speak for everybody because it is people that are out here working with the community and doing things like that. But like you said, a lot of people are lazy. A lot of people are just in the house and they just chilling and they're not doing much. But I feel like we really got to step up and like lead these kids. And
absolutely.
I feel like a lot of it is on how the kid is raised, though.
Yeah.
Like, I saw some, this is why I started shifting the way, like, we kind of, I ain't gonna say we, right? Me and my daughter's mom, she's amazing with her. But I read something that was like, the way you educate them determines how they receive information later. And if all I'm doing, that's the reason why these kids are the way they are now. Like, only thing they're getting information from is a tablet, TV, a video game or something like that. And they getting out here. I really feel like these kids are out here trying to live GTA.
I swear.
Most of these kids who are out here crashing out like that, I feel like they get multiple lives. And the way the juvenile system is, they do get multiple chances and multiple lives. So they continue and you create that pattern and you feed that high school to jail cell pipeline. I mean, but it's I wanted to start reading to her and start giving her. A lot of times I'm just giving her the same information sometimes that she saw on TV, but I want her to have the same value when I say something.
Yeah.
I mean, I want her to be able to trust information that I give her too.
Yeah.
Like you had the entertaining version of it. Sometimes my voice may go up a little bit and I may, play with her and sing it a little bit to get her. But after a while, it's like, okay, you need to be able to receive this information without entertainment.
With a raw way. Yeah.
You feel me? So I think that a large part of the disconnect is the way these kids process and receive information.
Yeah.
It's the reason why half of them can't write or read. They didn't have to write or read.
Wasn't forced to.
They know ABCs from a song, and if they ain't, you ask them, like some of them, you ask them letters out of order, they gonna struggle a little bit. For real. So it's a reason why that's why I'm in different. You said you want your kids to go to public school. I do too because I went to public school. Yeah. But the education system was way different in public school.
That's very true.
All right. So picking a public school that would I feel like that is going to be a challenge for you, brother. Yeah. Just knowing the way you speak. The way you are, I just feel like I know that's going to be a definite challenge for you. Finding something with a curriculum that will be suitable for you, for real. Because you don't want to homeschool them. Then they grow up with social disorders and shit like that sometimes.
I'm gonna combat that one. So ideally, what I would really want to do is homeschool my kids until high school. But do y'all know that homeschool kids are legally, they have to allow them to participate in every single sporting club for whatever school they're zoned to? I thought for the longest.
I know you could still play club. I knew you could still. I didn't know it was like legally or
like they
or
can't deny you. Like your kid got to have the same opportunity to try out for that team. If he's on to that high school or that middle school, whatever, they have to allow them to go, even though he's homeschooled. And I used to feel that was the way homeschool kids were going to be. And I remember I was a part of this internship program my sophomore year going into my junior year in Kansas City. And all of us were sophomores and juniors. But there was one girl in the group. She went to Spelman. She was at Spelman. And she was a freshman. They didn't even accept freshmen in the program. But she was so impressive that they accepted her into the program. So she's a year or two younger than the rest of us. And I remember her stealing the entire program by how prepared and powerful she was. She could interact with everybody. And I'm asking her, like, one day she mentioned that she was homeschooled. And I said, how are you homeschooled and you're able to communicate like this socially? You didn't have. Like that she's like, I was a part of all the same clubs and everything that everybody else did. I played all the sports. I had friends. I went to parties. Like, I did everything that a typical high school student experienced. But what I didn't have to do was two things. One, I didn't have to go through them BS schools and all the nonsense that comes with maybe the teachers that you have or the way the school is ran. I didn't have to deal with that because my parents were the ones that ran my curriculum. And two, I didn't have to go through all that same nonsense that a lot of kids go through with kids, because kids are demons. They will do some, especially girls. Girls, they are messy and it get bad. I remember my sister coming home and I'm like, what are you crying for? Like, it can't be this bad. But then as you get older and you see, it's like, wow, y'all really do, especially once they start going through that maturity of their bodies and stuff and things start changing hormonally. Them girls are crazy. And it's like she got to miss all of that and develop healthy boundaries for herself, develop healthy habits. And I was like, you know what?
I'm not gonna lie, I like that. I like that perspective a lot because you're homeschooling is like the social media version of school. You're there for the highlights. Yeah. You're there for sports, you're there for parties, but I get to develop my social cues, my morals, my ethics, and it's not influenced by having to sit through periods of class where you want to play mean girl today.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And shit like that. So I really enjoyed that perspective.
It take money and it take discipline because you got it. Because either you paying for a tutor, or you guys got to do it yourself. So you got to have some resources to be able to have that time. But the issue is a lot of people that give homeschooling a bad rep. A lot of parents do homeschooling and they're not serious about it. They half-ass it. They're not really challenging their kids. Their kids do school for 30 minutes a day, quote unquote, and then whatever. Let them do whatever they want. No, you got to run it like they're in school, but you have to form a real curriculum. And you can have school done in 2-3 hours, and they can learn more during that time period than they would have ever learned at school.
Now, see, I experienced both, not homeschool, but I experienced public school and private school. Private school was a little bit different for me because I went to boarding school. And so I went to public school all the way up until 10th grade. So high school, I did 9th and 10th grade public school, and then I repeated my 10th grade year when I went to boarding school.
Gotcha.
Thank God I was nice on the field, so I had a full football scholarship. But private school is different, bro. It is different. Like I said, I think I spoke about this before too, but it was about 250 students, and 15 of us were black.
Wow.
So that was definitely something that I had to deal with. But my situation, I'm glad that I went to boarding school because my mother passed away at 16. Wow. So it kind of prepped me. It was a college prep school. And so like we had dorms. I had a roommate. Like we go wash our own clothes. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it kind of like prepped you to get out there in the real world and just understand like what being on your own would be like. But I'm glad I was there at that time. And I feel like my mom kind of knew that she was gonna have to leave this earth like soon. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So she put me there, and I'm glad that she did because it helped me just be able to form that sense of independence for myself before entering the real world. That's you know what I'm saying? So like private school is different. Yeah. It's definitely different. Like, but I'm glad I went through it though. But I'm glad I got that public school experience too, because I got a lot of friends, you know what I'm saying, still to this day, a lot of memories, you know what I'm saying, from public school, way more than private school. Like, yeah. But yeah, I'm glad I got both sides though.
I feel like public school reflects like the real world, like from nonsense and all that stuff you're going to see, and private school reflects the game that's being played. Especially because a lot of times at private school, you're dealing with people with the resources. Their parents are the ones that are in these big positions that really represent the powers that be in the world. They know a different game. Those kids, like when I did an internship at a law firm, and I'm seeing these kids, I'm like, oh, y'all know how to maneuver this. Y'all are comfortable with exactly how to maneuver this, saying the right thing at the right time, kissing up to this person, knowing how to maneuver. I'm like, I just don't understand this. I'm learning it from them, but it's natural to them. They've been taught it their whole life. So that's different. And you brought up a point about what can be done with these kids nowadays. I think that like there's a couple things. I think first, and Harold is exactly right. It comes from home training. Absolutely. One of the things that I think we struggle with as the now adults is we come off very judgmental, and it's because we love them and we're just disappointed with what we be seeing. But we come off so hard on a soft generation, and you're never gonna mix. It's not gonna mix. And so this is something that I had to learn in dating, specifically with my girlfriend. We've been together 5 years at this point, so it's been a lot of challenges. And what I had to ask myself is, do you want to get your point across the way you want to get it across? And y'all gonna argue. She might not ever receive it, but I said it, and I got the last word or whatever it is. Or do you want to communicate it in a way that she can receive it, apply it, and y'all can actually come to a solution and move forward? Yeah. Leadership is about being effective, right? We talk about like, how do you properly lead as a man? Yeah. And the only leadership that I care about is what you did, was it effective? That's what matters. I don't care what you said, how you said it. If nobody received it, it don't matter. Right. I don't care if you said it the most motivational, soft heart, whatever way you did it. Did the people receive it, and can they apply it? Yeah. And so I think we have to ask ourselves, how am I meeting this child? Whenever we're having this conversation, am I meeting them where they're at? Or am I already meeting them as the person I want them to be? Because they're not prepared for that person yet. You got to talk in that language that they get. And you know this, because I know you had to deal with some of them. Yeah. You come across them, and it's like, if you come across one way, you're going to get one response. They're going to fire back at you. But if you hit them a different way, you can calm them down and make them actually sit there, and whether they apply it or not, they might be willing to listen. And not everybody can be saved.
Man, these kids are, I kind of just want to hit this a little bit, and then we can kind of move on from the kids. But these kids are cruel, bro. Yeah. Like, just even from, right, y'all know the dude who went viral, the Iron Fresh. Yeah, I mean, these kids that have an image. they have an image of who they want to listen to.
Yeah.
You feel me? So you could go to their community, I mean, have the purest intention to bring programs and tangible resources and stuff like that. But if you have a Poindexter approach to them, they're not going to listen. They have they want to feel like you can relate, but at the same time you beat it, but at the same time you still in it, and you can help them at the same time. You feel me? Like you can give them a real opportunity to help their situation right then. These kids, again, man, I ain't gonna lie, adults have that thing too. Yeah, they have their vision of what they want or think a leader should look like, or what their platform should look like. So, but they just, man, these kids are different for real. And like you said, some are way beyond saving. Yeah. Even the Honorable Marcus Garvey knew that. You know what I mean? We're gonna have to leave some of y'all.
You remember what Umar said? Some of y'all going to sleep.
Some of y'all going to sleep for good.
Man, you can either be the person that gets your point across and feels like you're right, or you can be the person that got the solution, right? And at a certain point, you got to put your ego to the side and ask yourself what form and what approach is going to actually get the result for success for my relationship, for my family, for my own life. And I don't think that we ask ourselves that enough as men. Is my approach really leading to the results that I want in my life? Because if not, I need to reevaluate and change some things. But I want to know your thoughts about it.
I was going to ask you, like, how do you suggest doing that, you as well here? Yeah. Without being, you know what I'm saying, combative with your woman and, you know what I'm saying, just bumping heads and trying to make them understand, like, how do you be able to mesh well with your woman without changing who you are as a man?
That's impossible.
Yeah.
That's impossible. And I'm saying it for multiple reasons. First off, if the version that you are as a man right now ain't working to have a conducive relationship, well, then you must change. So it's not to lose your identity, but it is to get rid of tendencies that are not helpful, right? That has to change. And what I've learned, and I got a lot more, of course, to learn, but what I've learned is women specifically, a lot of times, especially black women who come from tough circumstances where they've had to kind of dive into that masculine, they may talk tough, they may talk very hard, they may talk very direct, but that is not how they hear. They hear soft, they hear emotionally, they hear tenderly, and they want you to talk to them that way. And it's a tough thing because you talking to me crazy.
Out your mind.
Out your mind. I don't know who you think I am, but I ain't the one.
Yeah.
And so you ready to fire back with that exact same tone, but then that's when we talk about you want to call yourself a leader. Yeah. Leaders cannot succumb to what the follower is doing. You have to be above that, right? And so it sucks because you're going to have to take the L in that moment. You're going to have to hold your tongue and say, I know I want to give this fire right back to you in the same energy you just gave to me. But all that's going to happen out of that is we're going to go back and forth. I'm going to be sitting here like, man, I only did it because you did it to me. Like, it's tit for tat. Yeah. She's going to be sitting there like, you talk to me crazy. I can't believe you would do this. You just hurt my heart.
You spoke for 2 minutes. She went off for 45.
Bro, and it's like you done brought the world down on it.
Yeah. I agree, man. Well, you done, bro? I don't want to cut you off.
Bro. I mean, I didn't have much else to say. I was just wrapping that up with just saying you have to realize there's a lot of aspects of that, but that's one key aspect of how you can change the dynamic of your relationship is understanding that everybody doesn't speak in the same language that they listen in. Identify what it is that how she really maneuvers and hears. Start talking like that and watch how she start changing everything up. It won't even be a big issue no more. She'll be sitting there mad about something. You just hit her with, first before I say anything, I just want to let you know I love you.
That's straight out of a book, literally.
For real?
That's it's straight out of a book.
I think I heard that in Way of Superior Man a little bit.
Yeah, so, that's the book.
Go ahead.
That's the book.
That's that book.
That's that book. It's a quote that says, like, be who you are until being who you are prevents you from being who you want to be. And that's as a boyfriend, husband, a man, the leader, provider, whatever. So you're gonna have to grow in your response. It's one of the things I learned most towards the end of my relationship is not trying to make her do anything or not trying to meet her where she is, but rather trying to inspire her in order to get the responses that I want. You heard me talk about that a few times. Like, I ain't trying to make you do nothing, but if me being who I am and me growing and trying to show, I'm showing you like tangible effort and everything, like me trying to develop into who I am, if that don't inspire you to be who I want you to be, then that's the cutter.
There
you feel me? And there's nothing wrong with that. You feel me? But I think men start trying to become somebody they're not to get women to do things. I feel like men start trying to take on too much from a woman. I mean, to get them to do shit. And when at the end of the day, all you gotta do is grow and let your light shine for real. Become exemplary in your role. I guarantee you it's gonna come right to your front door. You feel me? So you have to grow. You have to grow. Absolutely. And you have to grow in your response to them. You have to grow in your approach to them. Like you said, I don't even look at it as like I'm taking the L in that moment. Like looking back on it, I've met it there a few times. Like sometimes, like and learning the difference between meeting them there and being nonchalant, you got to be right there. Because if you nonchalant too much, now you don't give a fuck, and that's just as bad as meeting them there. You feel me? So you do have, like the brother said, you do have to show some type of empathy for the moment and reassuring them that I love you, and at the end of the day, you need to understand that I care about you, and it's us versus this problem, not this problem. You know what I mean? It's coming between us. You know what I mean? Whatever the case may be. So. It takes a lot of reflecting though, and it really takes you potentially losing some shit that you thought that you saw a whole lot more in for you to even sit down and want to reflect. Like, how could I have been better? Yeah. How could I have grown as a man in my response? How could I have gotten the desired outcome from this relationship? By being better with who I want to be, who I say I want to be. I mean, so.
I got out of a 5-year relationship not too long ago. And, you know what I'm saying? I felt like through the years, I just kind of lost my edge. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so after we had split, I just was back in go mode and just really just started, like you said, I reflected and I was like, okay, like, what could I have done? Like, you know what I'm saying? What areas do I need to work on? And you know what I'm saying, I've been working still to this day on those areas. And, you know what I'm saying, I got a call. And she was just basically like, I'm watching you and you're becoming that person I've always wanted you to be. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, man, like, it's crazy. I couldn't see it then. You know what I'm saying? Just sitting in comfort and not thinking that it was ever going to come to an end. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely had to get that reflection and get my edge back. And how do you feel like, you know what I'm saying? Because coming out of a 5-year relationship, you're celebrating your 5-year relationship. What are the things that you're doing to keep things growing in your relationship?
Well, first thing I'm going to say is I commend you, because one thing that happens to all of us, I think at a certain point, and I can't speak for everybody, because Harold, you might have had a different experience, especially if you know, your mom raised you with certain ideals. You seem like you have very strong identity for yourself at an early age. But I know for me, the first time I ever got my heart really broken, I became so consumed in pleasing that person, right, that I lost who I was. Yes. I lost my identity. Yeah. And so that was something that I had to learn. And so I commend you for that. Well, then there you go. I feel like every man goes through that, bro. Love do that, bro. And you have to learn from that. Yeah. And when that happens, man, and you lose yourself so much in the relationship with this woman, and whether it's your goals or even just the tenacity to be able to tell this person no. I've always said, I think a woman respects a man's no way more than they respect a man's yes. Because that's what differentiates you. Any man can give you everything you want. What man can tell you no when it's not what's best for you? So that's a tough space. And you've navigated that and you came out of it on the other side a better man. And a lot of men, we succumb to that, and it really can destroy us. And you're not allowing yourself to accept defeat. You're learning from the situation, and it's a beautiful thing when you get that feedback back from that person, because it does feel good, right? We can't say that it don't. We can always say we don't need reassurance or validation, but we do. It do feel good when that person come back and say, nah, you that guy. Like, I see it, and I like it. But yes, 5 years where I'm at, how do we keep it fresh? One, like, me, I think it comes down to me first and foremost. I set the tone. And I think that's just men in general. Women, we all know this. They reflect whatever energy is coming around, because they might come in with some energy, but how you navigate is going to determine where it goes. So one of the big things for me is constantly trying to find ways to listen and pay attention to what I see women complaining about. Because if it's a lot of women's complaints, more than likely it's something your girl probably feel too.
Yeah.
Now, it's a balance. Because I think a lot of women complain about stuff that it's like, okay, the world is not going to always be your oyster and just going to go your way.
Right.
And I'm not the type of guy for that. But one of the things that I saw a lot of women complaining about is dates, right? And the initiative to plan a date. I've never been that type of guy. For me, it was like, if you want to go out, let me know if you want to go out, because I'm cool just chilling in this house. Like, I feel like that's quality time. I feel like that's special. But women want to see the initiative. They don't want to plan the date their whole self. So it's like, we had our 5 years coming up. So I had been taking ideas and stuff throughout the year of things that she had mentioned maybe she wanted to do.
Yeah.
Places that she wanted to go. I keep a notepad of stuff.
Yeah.
Every single time she mentioned anything, she like, I just keep it. Don't mean I'm going to get it right then and there, but I'm going to surprise her with it down the road, and she see I'm paying attention. And so when I come to her and say, hey, this is what I'm thinking for our 5 years. I want us to do this, 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 and this. She in school right now. She already stressed out enough. And so when she sees that I've taken a little bit of the load off of the table and I'm asking her for feedback, these things that you would like, is there anything you want to add on to it? It makes her really soften even more, because she's like, oh, he care about it as much as I do. Because that's how women take it. We're like, man, 5 years, I love it. We can go get some dinner. We'll be good to go. They want to see that you care enough, that it's on your mind the way it's on their mind. And we know it be on ours, but we just don't express it the same way. So I think that really paying attention to the things that you hear the women in your life complain about, your girlfriend may bring it up, like, she's not saying it for no reason.
Right.
And ask yourself, is it going to kill you to just do it her way for once? Like, just try it her way. If it's not going to really harm you in any way, it's okay to let somebody's, I don't want to say insecurity, but somebody's, I don't know what the proper word would be, but just let them have that.
Yeah. Let that influence rise, basically. Yeah. What do you say to, all right,
let's get into
this podcast space, right, where people would say it don't take that long, because you are at 5 years, right? It don't take that long to know why you're not married.
Yeah. Great.
What do you say to that? And have you ever gotten any pressure from your lady, like, in that space too?
Yeah. So for context, first thing is, me and my girlfriend, I'm 26, she's 24, right? We started dating in college. When I was a junior, she was a freshman. So a large proportion of our relationship, we were undergraduate students. Marriage isn't what we're focused on right now. We try and get our degrees. We ain't got no money for no ring. We are not prepared to be married right now. And I'm glad I didn't get married at that time, because the people we were 2, even 3 years into a relationship and the people we are 5 years in, completely different. That relationship wouldn't have lasted. Those two people would not have been able to make a marriage work. So first thing is,
you think that a ring or actually tying the knot would have changed the trajectory of y'all that much?
No, it wouldn't have. I know it wouldn't have. Because it don't matter what milestone we were going through. If things were going to change, they would have changed. I think that a lot of people use that ring as, I don't want to say I'm going to put it this way. You show what partner you're going to be for the marriage while you're dating. While we're girlfriend and boyfriend, I should see you being somebody that shows acts of kindness. I should see you being somebody who's willing to listen and change whenever there's a time for you to change, to grow. I should see you being the type of person that's willing to sacrifice. If I don't see those things and your excuse is, well, when I get married, I'll become that person, well, then I guess we're not going to ever find out. Because I can't bet on that.
Nah, for real.
There's no reassurance in that. There's no certainty in that. And I don't deserve to be treated half-assed until you get a ring. That's for men and for women. So no, the ring wouldn't have changed that for us. If anything, it probably would have elevated, because guess what? Now you're living together all the time. So all your issues are gonna get amplified, and you haven't navigated a way to conquer them.
Yeah.
Nah, it's gonna be worse. A baby does that too. Anybody who have a kid will tell you. If the relationship, what babies do is they reveal things. They open things up, right? Things that are strong in the relationship are gonna get tested, and they will grow stronger. If they really are foundationally strong, if you already have good communication, it's gonna force you to get even better. But if you have bad communication, it's gonna make it even worse. It's gonna expose all those things. Having a child does that, right? Children do not make a relationship stronger. If that was the case, why do we have so many single parents?
No, for real.
If that was the case, babies would really be making. That's not what happens. Your tendencies in life become stronger in moments of stress. They amplify. So people can say what they want. First off, my 5 years is not the same as me being 30. We meet at 30 years old, and then it's 35 and we ain't married. That's not the same thing. I was 20 when I met this girl. So that's a totally different thing. Two, nobody's gonna rush me on that. When I feel I'm ready, I'm ready. Now, three, I do not think people are lying from a man's perspective. I think a man knows. I don't think it takes a man 5 years to know if he wants to get married. My girl knows. I'm ready to marry her right now. We not married right now because she has said, I want to get through school, finish my master's degree and stuff like that. That's fine. I am completely okay with that. But I knew 2-3 years in that I wanted to marry her, not because we were ready, but I knew I wanted to marry her because I saw somebody that was willing to grow. I saw somebody that was willing to be on my side. I knew that girl was in my corner, 10 toes down, no matter what. I saw things in her that it's like I wouldn't even dare to think that there might be better out there to do that. Nah, like she giving you everything that you want, everything that you can need. Yeah, there's areas of growth, but she's the type of person that's willing to grow. So I guess we in here. So yeah, no, I don't think it takes a man that long. I think most men within a year, if you really paying attention to this girl and really being honest with yourself, you know if she's wife material.
I think I agree along with the year to 2 years. Because I've been in some lengthy relationships. I'm not gonna get into it, but I'm a relationship guy. I enjoy being in a relationship. I enjoy being with my lady, especially being here. I don't have a lot of family in Nashville, so I have a lot of friends and I have a lot of people who respect me. So it's colleagues and stuff like that. But I don't have a lot of like people who gonna pull up to my house and I'm gonna talk to her about what the hell going on. But I got my few. That's all you need as a man.
Absolutely.
But all right, so I enjoy being in a relationship, but I think that you need to see a person grieve. I think you need to see that person potentially support you while you're grieving. I think you need to see, I think y'all need to struggle. I ain't gonna say you need to struggle financially, but there needs to be some type of doubt created. I think that, I'm for real, man, I think that especially with the pressure that's put on men as a provider as if financially is the only way of provision for a man. But I think that like y'all need to see and go through some things, especially a powerful man, a superior man, so to say. You need to go through some things with that woman to make sure that she gonna be willing to continue to get through things with you, because this is a fleeing generation, bro. Everybody is cutting people, is so quick to cut people off, and everybody feel like they don't need anybody and shit like that. So I just don't agree with the men that get on these platforms and act like and I feel like it's them pick me niggas. But I'm being honest, you have pick me men too. Like it ain't just pick me women out here. It's pick me men too that pick up this microphone and be like, a man knows in 3-6 months whether like that man may be inspired to do a lot for you, but that man does not know if you are fit to sustain a marriage like in that time frame. Like I don't care how much you love a person, like love ain't the only thing that you need to get through a marriage. Feel me? So I agree, bro. Take your time. I really ask that for that purpose, like, because people will allow themselves to get rushed.
Yeah.
They allow themselves to get pressured by these platforms and these pick-me's and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, your process is your process.
Yeah.
Like, again, I don't think I'm 32, right? I don't think that it would take me 5 years. If I'm dating somebody for 5 years, at that point, we basically just here.
Yeah.
Like, for real.
What are we really
what
going
are we really
towards?
doing? For real. But I think one of the biggest things for a man to see in a woman is the fact that she's willing to recognize and identify a mistake and grow. A lot of women think that men just have to take them as they are. They're perfect as they are. Right? And there's no room for growth for them, for real. And that's just not even remotely close to the case.
That's real.
Now, see, I've been kind of like on the 5-year side because, like you said, I agree with what you said. Just because I feel like through life is gonna hit somewhere in between them 5 years, and I need to see how we are gonna get through this together and how you're gonna be as we push through this. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's gonna be some type of friction that happens between those 5 years, and it might not take 5 years, but somewhere in between there, something is gonna happen.
Yep.
To where I need to see your character and see who you are through these struggling times. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, through grief, through financial hardships, all of that. And it was actually coming up to the point to where it was heavy on my mind about, you know what I'm saying, just taking that step and proposing. And I'm glad I didn't move a lot faster on it.
Yeah.
Because, you know what I'm saying, there was a lot of things that I needed to work on, you know what I'm saying, and her as well. But yeah, I've always kind of been like more on the 5-year side just because I know something is gonna happen throughout life to where, you know what I'm saying, I really want to see if you're ready to ride this out for forever. You know what I'm saying? And it might not take 5 years, you know what I'm saying, but that was just an idea that I've always had in my mind, like growing up. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's gonna take 3 to 5 at least.
And I also say I think that the more self-aware you become, I think the less time it can take because you can recognize certain things that you need quicker.
Yeah.
Right? You know yourself so much. You know you're good, you're bad. You also have seen enough good and bad in other people.
Right.
To where it's
you know
like,
what you want.
All right, I can peep this stuff early. I can see the way you respond. And I know, because especially as you get older, you start thinking about time completely. I don't got time to waste.
Bro, I'm 35,
right?
bro.
You're like, bro, I need this thing to start getting moving. And so when you're dating somebody and you see how when, you didn't have the money this time to take them out, right? And you see the way they treat you in that moment, it's like, hold on, that's an issue. That's an issue. Like, I'd have been consistent 6, 7, 8 times in a row. And this one time I'm communicating to you, telling you like, yo, I'm not gonna be able to do it this month because this came up. I gotta take care of this priority. And now I ain't worth the damn. It's like, okay, now your younger self would have saw that as just a mistake or just, a moment of weakness. That person just wasn't ready. They reacted the wrong way. But the older you says, nah, that's a reflection of your character and where your mindset is at and how you view me and my role in this relationship. And that's not who I want to be for you. I don't want you to ever feel entitled to me, my money, my space, anything like that. I want you to feel privileged for it because I feel that same way about yours.
Yeah.
I think it's valuable. I think it's important. I think it's a luxury that you want to share your life with me. And I'm going to treat it as such. People treat luxury really well. Things that people think are, just necessities and requirements, and things that they're entitled to, we treat them like trash. And anytime somebody don't show up as that person, they got to go. And I want somebody that when I'm not showing up as my best self, their response is, how can I help? I want a woman who sits there and says, what's going on? Because I know this isn't the normal him. And my girl has been there for me in multiple different circumstances, and she'll peep stuff before I peep it. But you see, when I was emotionally immature about that stuff, I combated that. It made me uncomfortable. But I realized that she was just calling out the things that were just the honest to God truth about me.
I want to kind of hit that for a second, too, is the entitlement. That was one of the things in my relationship, man. I like to feel inspired to do things for a woman.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, I'm doing these things for you because you text and called the shit out of me and made sure I made it where the hell I said I was going safely. You feel me? Like, you care about my well-being. You like I tell you something going on, you dig and you really try to empathize and be there and be willing to be vulnerable in that moment too. And to share that space. Like, so it's one of them things, man, where it was just like, I remember having a conversation with my ex, and it was just like, and I told her, I was like, I want to feel inspired to. I literally said that, and she was like, inspired. You should just want to do this just because, like, I'm a woman. I'm like, see, there's the conflict right there. Is that you think that I owe you these things because we have this title now. You don't have to perform for these things. All right, and that's one of the biggest things. Like, I like the shit that you want from me. I want to do it, I promise you. Yeah. But I have a very strong identity. And I grew up around some old heads that for real, like, I used to call it player when I was younger, but it's really just principles. Yeah. Like, they really was just like, I'm not paying for you to fuck with me. Yeah. And it felt like, it felt like being required to do those things and you not having to basically reciprocate or validate and show that love. All right, in the 3 phases that I feel like most men need it. All right, tell me, show me, all right, and then hold me accountable. You know what I mean? When I'm falling short or if I need to be held up. Yeah. You feel me? All right, but if you're not showing up in those spaces, why am I doing these things? All right, just because you got the title. All right, if that's the case, let's strip the title and let's see who we naturally are to each other. Yeah. Feel me? But that entitlement, man, because of the title, is just I feel like it became detrimental in a sense. Yeah. To how it's like for real. And not to how it's perfect, not shit like that. We all fall short. And I know that a lot of those times in that space where she was just like you talked about, they want us to just plan the date and stuff like that.
That means so much to them, bro.
Like it does, and I get it. And if I'm being honest, man, I've been in relationships where I do that shit like without thought. Yeah. Like for real, we live in Nashville, bro. It's easy to go out.
It's something going on.
Yeah, it's something like so. We going to all the concerts. We going to like we're gonna go out. We're gonna have fun and do all of that. So and like I said, I want to do that. It's cool. You feel me? Because I know what I'm gonna get from that woman when I do those things. Yeah. All right, but I want to, like, why am I doing that, though? You feel me? Like, you have to have, me personally, like, some men just gonna show up and start tricking. You know what I mean? But I ain't doing that, you feel me? So I need, again, man, I just feel like I need to be inspired to do those things for a woman, rather, versus just feeling like that shit is expected because whatever the case may be. Feel me?
I love it. Love it.
Can I ask y'all a question?
Of course.
Unless you had something you wanted to add right there.
Nah, go ahead.
All right. I'm gonna ask y'all a question, and then I'm gonna give y'all a chance to think about it while I tell my answer to it, and then
okay, bet.
So I'm gonna ask you guys, what is an experience in you guys' life? I like to call it a core memory, right? Whether it was when you were young or something that's happened as you've been an adult, that has shaped the way you view what you want in a relationship. Just think. I want you guys to think through your life, something that has happened that you're like, yeah, that right there is something I need or something I know I don't want. So for me, when I was around the age of 13, 14, I was right when I was going into high school. I was in 8th grade, and my dad lost his job. My dad was, working graveyard, overtime shifts all the time, trying to make sure we were good. Taking on every hour he could. My mom was a teacher. My dad worked for Continental Airlines, and they merged. Continental merged with United. And everybody lost their job in Houston because they moved the headquarters to Chicago. So my dad thought he was, finding another job really quick. That didn't end up happening. My dad was out of work for 3 years, right? Severance pay was about 36-month severance package that he had. So it was for 3 years. And I remember during that time period, never once seeing my mom belittle my dad's position in that household. Never once making him feel less than. Never once saying, well, I'm the one that's, bringing in the checks now. None of that. Never once saw my mom change the way that she loved him because he was out of work at that time. And the flip side is that as I never once saw my dad get comfortable in being unemployed. My dad changed his entire role at that moment. While he was doing interviews during the day, when he didn't have job interviews, my dad was cooking the dinners. My dad was fixing things up around the house. Anything my mom wanted done, baby, you want to remodel this? I'm gonna go ahead and do that remodel job that you've been talking about for the last few years. He found a way to make himself a provider in ways that were not financial. Mm-hmm. And my mom respected him and loved him for that. And he respected and loved her for that. And they had to shift roles. And so it goes back to something that y'all already mentioned, which is like when shit hit the fan. Mm-hmm. Do you love me for me? Mm-hmm. Right? And is it because I make this money? Is it because I can take you out? Is it because I can do... We couldn't go on vacations no more when my dad was out of work. My mom and dad couldn't go out on dates like that when my dad was out of work. They had to tighten up around that house. Things got real tight. We had enough to make it by, and they did a good enough job to where me and my sister didn't really feel it, but they were feeling it, right? And I look back at that, and that is the biggest turnoff. And I've had conversations with my girlfriend about this many times. Like, the one thing I don't ever want to feel, and whenever we've had moments of contention when it comes to money, because I did early on when I had a good internship in college and I had good money, I was coming, I had no responsibility, so we could do different things. Yeah. And I felt at a certain point she felt entitled to that. And so when I couldn't do it, I was like, why are you so pent up over my money? Right? And so we had conversations about that, and that, has never happened again. And now it's a completely different situation. Now that I'm chasing my purpose and I walked away from a 6-figure job, it's like there's certain things I can and cannot do. My girl's about to finish PA school. She's going to be making easily 120, 130, whatever a year. We were talking about marriage. And she said, babe, what happens if speaking for you doesn't take off in the next few years and we're married and together? Like, what would you do? And I said, man, I already told you, I don't have no shame in my game. I'll go work at Walmart. I don't care. I'll go do anything to breed. I'm not too good for nothing to bring some money into this house or take care of things. My girl said something to me that once again just showed me why I want her to be my wife. She said, I don't see the point in you going to do that if I make enough money to take care of us both. I would rather you devote all your efforts towards making this work, because this is your dream and this is your passion and this is what you want to do, and I see it for you. Mm-hmm. That first off took so much pressure off my shoulders, made me want to love her even more. And it's just like, damn, bro, I ain't never felt so valued, bro. Hell yeah. It changed everything. So I want to ask y'all, what's some core memories that y'all have that has established a boundary or something that you really want, a standard for your relationship life?
You want me to go first, or you got it?
I feel like I really didn't see too much to where it was like, that's what I wanted. Mm-hmm. I kind of saw what I didn't want out of relationship and just me as a man. I feel like I grew up and it wasn't just an everyday thing, but it was a good handful of moments to where I seen my brother's dad put his hands on my mom. And I remember like making myself a promise, like, I never want to be that man. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because my mom she was a beautiful woman, you know what I'm saying? Very sweet lady, bro. Like, she wasn't like ratchet all in your face, like, you know what I'm saying? Just yelling all at you and stuff. Like, she wasn't that type of person, so I never understood like how it got to that point. But my mom, she ain't playing no games though, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know what he could have been doing to where she was on his ass, like, you know what I'm saying? But it was just like, I remember those moments, and I remember making a promise to myself, like, I never want to be you. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, and I haven't. Like, I've never put my hands on a woman. It's been a couple times. I done got slapped. You know what I'm saying? That second slap come, I have to scoop you. You know what I'm saying? Like, hold on now. But I ain't never just, you know what I'm saying, beat a woman, hit a woman, picked her up by her throat, threw her. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never got to that point, and I'm proud of that because I feel like people do see, you know what I'm saying, grow up in those type of environments, and then they do become that person sometimes. So, that was me. Yeah.
So similar to some, I grew up, I didn't see a whole lot of healthy examples of relationships and marriages. My mom was a victim of domestic violence. So I completely understand and making core memories of not wanting to be that person. And I ain't never hit no woman either. Like I don't play that. It's the reason why. Yeah, I know me. I stand in those gaps for domestic violence intervention and stuff like that now. So, but one of my core memories of a good relationship. I remember I was dating this girl in college, man. She had a military family. Her dad served a military and stuff like that. And I remember going down for her sister's wedding and watching. I went down before that. Too, and I saw examples around the house of how from the small kids to the wife, everybody made sure and checked on that man. Made sure that he was good. It was one of the first times I saw a black man like in a marriage for real who looked like he was happy and fulfilled, bro. I'm dead serious. Like even at the wedding, you saw him break down with joy, giving his daughter away. And stuff like that too. But even then, man, the amount of reassurance that they gave that man was just refreshing, bro. Yeah. I've never seen a black man valued in a household that way.
Yeah.
I remember just one like conversation that we was having in particular, and he was like talking to me about you have to grow into being a man, basically. And it's a process, and it's a never-ending process, too. But that was one of I was like, if that, me having, and especially me having a daughter now, I'm like, shit, cool. Like, but if I want anything, it's just, I'm going to go out here, and I don't care if it's, we're going out here and just providing income, or if it's World War III outside. And like when I get back to this house, as long as everybody, man, I'm cool with fighting whatever battles I got to go out here and fight. And like you said, just having somebody in your corner and having a cornerstone of literally a people, not let alone just your lady, support you like that and give you that unwavering faith and support. That's one of the core memories. I was like, I have to have that though. Yeah. Because I knew a lot of black men who are married, you feel me? But that's one of the, and then one of my mentors back home, he always somewhere cheating his family. He's a minister back home. Mr. Andre, if you watch this, man, it's one of my guys, man. I love him to death. But his family is that way too. Yeah. They're always checking on him, always making sure he's good. Making sure he don't need anything because they know that man will run through a wall for them. All right, and you got to get people around you who make sure that you know that you cool with making that sacrifice. I just need you at the end of the day to make sure I'm good. So that's one of the things for me, man.
That's real.
Like for real. You see a lot of married people, right? A lot of times you see the man distant. Sometimes, like he most of the time just off in his own space. Like, nah, his brother, wife come get him, they just dance for no reason. You feel me? Like, it's like it's still there. Yeah. No matter, and I'm pretty sure that shit ain't been perfect. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that they had stuff that they had to overcome, but at the end of the day, like, you can see that their support is there, and it ain't phased by circumstance. Yeah.
Something I've always wanted to do, just as a videographer, media specialist, is I feel like it's kind of become extinct with the black family TV shows. Like, I feel like growing up, I definitely saw Martin. Yeah. And we had that example of Martin and Gina, you know what I'm saying, laughing, cracking jokes on the friends coming over to the crib, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just seemed like a nice, fun relationship, even though that it was scripted. Yeah. But it was something that we could look to and be like, man, like, we never knew Martin to cheat on Gina. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, Cosby Show, Family Matters. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have those black family shows anymore. And I don't know how I'm going to make it happen, but, you know what I'm saying, if there's anybody out there watching that, you know what I'm saying, that's a writer or anything like that, I've always wanted to make that happen. And I think I definitely want to make a nice, fun, black TV sitcom series to where we can just show a good example of healthy, fun relationships for our black people.
I think My Wife and Kids is one of the best Black
Absolutely.
TV shows
Yeah.
forever.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
mean, entrepreneur.
Yep.
I mean, father of three. I mean, and he kept it light in there, even with his discipline.
Very
you
true.
feel me? Like, of course, he was. Y'all know how the show was. Like, he was exaggerated. Everything was exaggerated to an extent, but. I feel like core-wise, like that is a great example
Yes.
of a black family, a black marriage, and it's a really. The show is so old, but with the way that trucking and everybody want to be an entrepreneur now and shit like that, the show is so relevant.
Absolutely.
For real, man. It's one of my favorite shows.
Let me
for
go back
black
and watch
family.
that.
Nah, for real. My wife and kids, man. That was the show.
Yeah.
That's all very true.
Employed
man.
his wife and his son at one point
Yeah.
inside of his business. Like it's just, I really enjoyed that show.
Yeah.
That's powerful, man. I just wanted to ask that question because really almost everything that we have as expectations for ourselves and for our relationships comes from either trauma or success. Right? Really no in between. The stuff that didn't impact you enough, you don't really carry as much. But the things that you remember and the things that are going to trigger you in your relationships, good or bad, are going to be those moments that reflect something that you've seen or experienced or watched in the past.
Yeah.
And so I feel like it's important for us to take the time, and I challenge you, brothers, to go through your life, different relationships, different people in your life, siblings, friends, aunts, uncles, things that you've seen that you like, that's a yes or that's a no. And just think about them. Because that's even going to help you in your next relationship explain who you are and why you are that way. Because when you can tell somebody, like, this is why I see this way, now it's easier for you to navigate. It's no different than when you with a girl and she breaks down to you why she responds a certain way or does a certain thing a certain way. Now you know, like, okay, I probably should never respond this way because it triggers her to something she saw growing up. So I can't come at her this way because it's never going to get the right response. And the same thing for us. And one thing everybody has mentioned is reassurance. We need it.
Yeah.
And I want us
It's
to
almost
really
like
do
we're
that.
human.
Yeah, bro, we're human.
It's almost like we're human.
We need that.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
It's been an amazing conversation.
Absolutely.
No, for
It's
real.
another one of them ones.
I knew. I told you. I told you it's gonna be one of them ones, man. I enjoy them manhood conversations. For
Yeah.
real.
Real talk.
For real. I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation, Myles. For real.
Appreciate
you.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Good brother Myles, you want to let the people know where they can find you at? Is there anything
Absolutely.
else you want to hit on real quick before we, you know what I'm saying, wrap things up?
Man, so in terms of where you can find me, everything is Myles the Millennial. So website, www.milesthemillennial.com. You can book me for speaking engagements there. You can also cop my book. I have a few shirts on hand too, so you can get those as well. You can find my book on my website. You can find it on Amazon, TikTok Shop, all places. Yeah, you can follow me on any platform at Myles the Millennial. I'll pop up. Also, please take a look at our podcast. If you enjoy these conversations that these two men are having, you'll definitely enjoy the platform I have with my co-host Rex Howard Jr. It's called at Let's Talk Like Men podcast. We're growing really fast over there, so we'd love to have y'all a part of the community as well because Elevated and Let's Talk Like Men, we need to do a joint episode. That would
we
be
do.
dope.
A live
For sure.
taping.
That
too.
would be dope.
That would be dope.
But yes, y'all can find me there. Only thing I can leave y'all with is a message that I always leave any speaking engagement with, which is, you know, no matter what you're going through, no matter what you've been through, no matter what you are going to go through in life, anything that you want, anything you want to achieve, it's all possible if you change your mind. And when you change your mind, you will change your life. So that's all I got for him.
Love it.
Yeah. Elevated. Myles the Millennial, man. Jeff, Harold. We understand, man. Appreciate y'all.
Let's get it.
Much love.